Hey everyone! Welcome to the full tutorial of the free D&B Solar Calculator. Whether you just watched the last video or jumped straight here, this tool does all the math for you automatically. Let's dive in. This is the D&B Solar Calculator. You can download it for free. You'll find the link in the description below. And as you can see, I pre-filled in a bunch of the most common appliances people use, just to make it easier for you when you download it. So let's plug in the same example we just did manually, and then you'll see how easy this is. Oh, a quick tip. If you're not sure how many watts something uses, just check the label on the appliance, or if it's not there, just look it up online. Using real numbers keeps your model accurate. Okay, let's calculate those numbers that we did on the whiteboard earlier in a manual fashion. So we're going to go to our freezer first. We had determined that there was 250 watts that it uses, and we figured it would be on, keeping our stuff cold, running for about 8 hours a day. And the quantity, of course, we had 1. Now, when we did our calculations earlier, we had 2,000 watt hours. Let's see if this turns out. Perfect, 2,000 watt hours. So we got that in the totals. Let's move to the fridge. The refrigerator, we determined was 150 watts. And again, that's on, keeping things cold about 8 hours a day that it's running. We had a total, I think, of 1,200 watt hours. Let's see how this works. Sure enough, just as we manually calculated, 1,200 watt hours. Perfect so far. Let's move to the lights. So for the lights, we had 60 watt bulbs we were using, and they were going to be on for 3 hours a day. Now here's the neat thing, the quantity on this one, going to have 2 bulbs, and it should come out to 360 watt hours. And there it is, 360 watt hours. Works out perfect. Here's the cool thing. So down on the bottom, we've got our total watt hours so far, and that's all we put in our demo. So that's why we have the exact number we had earlier, 3,560 watt hours, just like we had on the whiteboard a little while ago. Now, if you want to add more things, if you're sizing a more major system, you can just keep adding things in here. All these add columns, or if you think of some things here that are already pre-listed, just add them in there, and it'll keep totaling up for you. If you run out of adds here, jump down to the next tab. So you have your loads tab down here. There's a 1.1 more loads. If you click it, notice it carries over the total from the other side, from the first page, 3,560. Whatever that number is, it'll carry it over. Then you can add more things down here. And as you get down to the bottom, it'll keep a running total, and your total will be down here. Again, we didn't add anything, so it's still 3,560 watt hours, but that'll just keep adding up as you add more things. So that's how easy it is to plug in all your appliances. And if you want to add things later, like a coffee maker or a microwave oven, a TV, a well pump, you just drop them in as another row. And the calculator keeps updating everything automatically. And just like I mentioned earlier, this is the tool that makes the whole process way easier, because it keeps a running total and handles the sizing math for you. Now, let me show you the really cool part, the sizing tab, where all the magic happens. So we're just going to go down here and click sizing on the bottom, and that's going to bring up our next screen. Notice the total watt hours from your loads tables just comes over automatically, so you don't have to type in anything. And the next thing we're going to choose is our days of autonomy. How many days you want the system to keep running if there's no sun. For this example, we're going to just pick 2 days. That's a good middle ground for most people. So we're going to put in 2. Now the next 2 columns are filled in for us, but the average sun hours column, that one's just basically where we put in how many hours the sun's going to shine each day to charge our system. We want to use the worst case number, and most people guess around 4. The system efficiency right below that, that's the calculator figuring in your system's efficiency. Nothing in solar, unfortunately, is 100% efficient. So we use a simple 0.85 here, and the calculator automatically adjusts for that loss. So this next column, battery bank watt hours needed for autonomy. It's watt hours times how many days. We determined up here that if there's no sun, we wanted 2 days of backup. we chose 2 days for autonomy. And we know every day we need 3,560 watt hours. So all that column's doing is taking our everyday needs 3560 times 2, giving us 7,120 watt hours. Now we know how much to store in our batteries to make it 2 days without the sun. Now, here's something people never think about. Let's say you had a couple of cloudy days and your backup system successfully kept everything running. Awesome, right? But your batteries now are totally drained. If you're only collecting enough power to run your daily loads, there's nothing extra left over to charge those batteries back up. So the calculator builds in a smart charging buffer that makes sure your batteries can recover safely. Let me show you how it works. So this column here takes 1/3 of 7,120 watt hours we need for autonomy, which is 2,373 watt hours, by the way, and adds it to your 3,560 watt hours you need to run your system. So that's a total of 5,933 watt hours per day that we'll plan so that if your batteries were ever drained, that extra margin will safely charge your batteries again within 3 days. We're building a little peace of mind in for those cloudy days. So based on your 5,933 watt hours needed per day and those 4 hours of sun, the calculator shows you how much solar panel power you'll need. The system also calculates your panel requirements using that 0.85 efficiency rating. So it's already factoring in real-world losses for you. Finally, in this last section, it allows you to put in the brand or model you intend to use for panels and how many watts they produce. So in this case, I'm going to use mine, Canadian, and how many watts they produce, which I have 400 watt panels. And it's going to calculate for you how many panels you need. This number is based on the 1,745 watts of panel power you need. So in order to get 1,745, if I only had 4 panels, that would be 1,600 watts. Too few for the 1,745. It's always going to round up for you so you have enough power. It's always better to have too much power than not enough. There's also an instructions tab to the right of the sizing one, and in here it's just the instructions on how to use this calculator. There's some tips in here. It's pretty straightforward, but just refer to the video if you still need help. Alright guys, that's the full walkthrough of the Solar D&B calculator. At this point, you're not guessing anymore. You know your real daily watt hours, and you've got a solid foundation for sizing your system. In our next video, we're going to take our 7,120 watt hours and turn them into an actual battery bank. I'll show you how many batteries you actually need, what size and what kind to get, and how to make sure they line up with those backup days we just calculated. If this helped you get a clearer picture of your system, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the battery breakdown. And if you want to share, drop your daily watt hour total in the comments. I read every one. Alright, I'll see you in the next video, where we'll turn our calculations into an actual battery bank. See you there.